Ik land op het vliegveld van Tel Aviv in Israël. Hier word je meteen overal herinnerd aan de slachtoffers en gegijzelden van 7 oktober. Ik reis af naar een dorpje op de grens met Gaza, waar Hamas op 7 oktober meer dan 100 mensen vermoordde. Ik rijd door de ingang van de kibbutz, die ik me nog herinner van de beelden die ik vorig jaar langs zag komen. Ik ontmoet Nitzan. Ze is een van de weinige overlevenden en ze woont hier in het dorp. Ze wil me het verhaal vertellen van de verschrikkingen en hoe mensen hebben geprobeerd in leven te blijven tijdens de aanslag.
In Yair and Nirit, they were the only 2 survivors. Yair was injured on his stomach, but still he managed to crawl in here while the terrorists are barging in, and he hid himself underneath that sink. He says that he put up his head all the way up till here, and half of his body was underneath there, and half of his body was lying out here, and he was full of blood, and he wasn't moving. They were here for a few hours, and he kept lying there, playing dead, and they didn't kill him.
Ik reis door naar het nabijgelegen Nova Festivalterrein. Hier zijn op 7 oktober meer dan 400 jongeren vermoord. Inmiddels is het een gedenkplaats. Hier ontmoet ik de moeder van de 35-jarige Matan. Ze deelt met mij het verhaal over de dood van haar zoon.
He is not live his friend. They cover, he said they found a lot of coppers that the man, like my son, make to the woman and cover them and help them and decide to die. This place, and then after it's become a graveyard, like a graveyard here. But...
Als reactie op deze brute aanslag kwam Netanyahu met een speech die het begin zou zijn van de oorlog in Gaza.
אזרחי ישראל, אנחנו במלחמה, לא במבצע, לא בסבבים, במלחמה.
Al bijna een jaar wordt de Gazastrook zwaar onder vuur genomen. Volgens de VN staat het aantal doden al op meer dan 40.000. Iets wat over de hele wereld hevige reacties opwekt. Israël noemt het zelfverdediging. Tegenstanders noemen het genocide. Ik ben zo benieuwd naar de verklaring van de regering voor dit enorme geweld in Gaza. Dus ga ik langs bij Ohad Tal. Hij is lid van het rechtse kabinet van Israël.
I mean, aren't we have the right to bring back our hostages? Little babies which are held as we speak at the hands of Hamas in the underground tunnels in Gaza. That's the reality. We're not there because we like it. We are not there in order to commit genocide as we are accused in world media. And again, unfortunately, of course, in a war, sometimes we have casualties. We don't like it. It's not good. It's bad. We're trying to avoid it as much as we can, but we can never have 100%. But you know, in this war, because let's say even if we are taking the numbers of...
De beelden die vanuit Gaza komen zorgen voor wereldwijde protesten. Niet alleen tegen de oorlog in Gaza, maar ook tegen de bezetting van Palestijnse gebieden door het Israëlische leger. Ik reis af naar Jeruzalem, op de grens met Palestijns gebied. Ik heb afgesproken met Yossi Klein. Hij schreef het boek Letters to My Palestinian Neighbors, waarin hij op zoek gaat naar verbinding.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Hij kijkt vanaf zijn huis uit op de 700 kilometer lange muur die Israël van Palestijns gebied scheidt.
If you look at the immediate view on the next hill, you'll see the security barrier that was built during the wave of suicide bombings in the early 2000s. And the West Bank is immediately after the security barrier.
Like since the October of 7th, there is like a whole new light shining on the conflict here. How do you see these protests in, for example, Amsterdam, where we are from?
I hear the moral passion and outrage of the demonstrators, and I wish I could celebrate their idealism, but what they're really demonstrating for is the destruction of my country.
A lot of people are protesting just because of the children and the women are dying.
Yes,
and if it were Jews, if it were Palestinians.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And I respect their concern, their anguish, and I share that anguish.
Of course, but is killing thousands of people making Israel safer?
It's a very important question, and I don't know the answer to that.
Gaza zit volledig op slot. Niemand mag er in of uit. Maar ik wil de Palestijnse kant horen. Dus tegen alle adviezen in reis ik af naar de westelijke Jordaan-oever. Hier wonen bijna 3 miljoen Palestijnen achter een 700 kilometer lange muur. Ik vraag hen hoe zij naar de muur kijken.
Well, this wall is pure figure for the apartheid. As you know, it's illegal and it's according to national law, it's crime.
It's not easy to see your country like split in 2 sides, but I think nothing to do.
Israelis say it's for safety because they are afraid of Hamas, for example.
Because the security. If we consider the wall, because the security, why? They build the settlements behind it, in the Palestinian side.
De Palestijnse man nodigt me uit in zijn auto.
In one day, this wall will go.
And then you live happily in peace with Israelis?
There is no problem between us and the Jewish or the Israelis. Our problem with the Israeli government.
Look, you know, we disagree, Palestinians and Israelis. We disagree about everything. I use the term security barrier. Palestinians will call it the apartheid wall. We built this not to create racial apartheid, but to have security for Israelis. So for me, it's a security wall. For Palestinians, the consequence of this wall is that they lack freedom of movement. For them, it's an apartheid wall.
Naast de enorme muur wordt dit Palestijnse gebied al sinds 1967 bezet door het Israëlische leger.
How are you?
Hello, how are you? Are you good?
Eenmaal aangekomen in Ramallah probeer ik ondanks de taalbarrière erachter te komen wie de Palestijnen zijn en hoe ze leven.
In your opinion, how did life change since the October of 7?
It's changed completely. People are afraid. They don't even go out at nighttime because of what happened. The military, they come force, they come shoot. It's different.
Yeah. Are you scared?
Yeah, because you don't know what might happen any moment. You might get killed, jail. It's a big risk.
You know, to be a Palestinian is just you feel like you are being chased all over the world, especially in your country. You are unwanted in your own land where your grandparents and grand-grandparents were born. You are unwanted, you are chased, you are subject to be shot, to be killed, to be taken to prison for no reason. And this is how it feels every day, all day. You are not allowed to go on some streets. You're not allowed to drive on some streets. You are not allowed to, some places you can't get into. That's how you live like as a Palestinian.
Actually, we see no future. We cannot see a future here. I cannot tell what's gonna happen tomorrow, so I cannot tell what's gonna happen in the future.
How do you live like that, day by day?
It is so difficult. It's scary. We're trying to keep going.
Yeah. And is it going good?
It's going. We're living. We're here.
Yeah.
Ik ben me ervan bewust dat de situatie in deze regio niet op 7 oktober is begonnen, maar een geschiedenis van tientallen jaren heeft. Maar hoe kijkt een expert conflictoplossing naar deze datum als aanleiding voor de huidige situatie? Ik ga langs bij professor Erikat bij de Universiteit van Ramallah.
I refuse the framing of October 7th. The madness in this region
did not start on October 7th. The Palestinian people have been suffering under a framework of a military occupation, racism, apartheid, settler colonial project. As I said, detentions. On daily basis, they come, they can take or detain anybody.
To knock down all this illegal occupation.
Yes, of course.
Right?
But by the way, sorry, ma'am, we are.
Where are you from?
We're from Holland, Amsterdam. Can I maybe talk to you for a few minutes?
I'm so sick of the whole international community that I can't really bear to talk to anyone.
I feel for you.
I mean, if you're really, I don't want any feelings or any sympathies.
Okay.
What I want is to end this occupation and let us live as free people, human beings, all right?
The Palestinian people are outraged, are not only dismayed. The level of frustration is unprecedented. I found myself in so many instances where, I mean, what am I doing? I'm teaching diplomacy. During a genocide, during a documented genocide, which was, a schizophrenic kind of dialectic reality.
It's enough. Killing us, the genocide, what's going on in Gaza, we are tired, we're sick.
I see.
This is barbaric.
Yeah.
Barbaric of the United States and barbaric of the European Union.
Van het Palestijnse gebied ga ik naar de Israëlische kuststad Tel Aviv. Hoe zien Israëli's 7 oktober en hoe leven zij sinds die dag?
Depends who you're asking. If you're asking me, life is changing a lot. Things are not the same. We are going down and down and down and down. The 101 hostages that are there are breaking our heart.
Yeah.
We can't breathe, we can't live, we can't do nothing if they won't come back. I can't do nothing. My heart is over there, and I don't understand why the government doesn't do everything to bring them back, including stopping the fucking war, including stopping everything.
Aan de andere kant ben ik ook wel benieuwd naar hoe Palestijnen zelf naar 7 oktober kijken.
And the October of 7th was like this attack on Israel. How do you see this attack? Do you support it, or how do you see this?
I don't support it, but I kind of somehow do. I mean, it's like we said, they're protecting themselves. They saw something coming, so they acted first.
You support it, or do you reject it, or do you condemn it, or how do you see this day?
I don't condemn it. I don't support it in the same manner, because we as Palestinians, we seek liberation and we seek our place of freedom. We want freedom because it's people that have been pushed into the limits, and the consequences of these limits has been October 7th.
Op straat wordt de aanslag niet aangemoedigd, maar voert begrip de boventoon. Ik ga langs bij Hibba Husseini. Zij deed jarenlang internationaal de vredesonderhandelingen namens de Palestijnen.
We, the Palestinians, don't see Hamas as a terrorist organization. The Palestinians do see them as an organization that is fighting for our freedom, for the end of occupation, and for our own dignity.
Yeah, even though fighting means killing 1,000 innocent, unarmed civilians.
Casualties happen. Unfortunately, it's sad, but it does happen.
Well, they were at a festival terrain, right? People partying, young people partying.
Yeah, they were partying. Yeah, I mean, that's sad. It's very sad, and it's unfortunate.
Those are not casualties, but
the accounts, I cannot speak for or against, because we don't have, the average Palestinian does not have the full account of what happened that day on October 7th, other than the Israeli reports.
Casualties. Steeds hoor ik weer die neutrale termen. Alsof het niet om mensen gaat.
And again, unfortunately, of course, in a war, sometimes we have casualties. We're trying to avoid it as much as we can, but we can never have 100%. But in this war, because let's say even if we're taking the numbers of Hamas of how many deaths we have in Gaza, it's still the ratio of hurting civilian casualties is 1-to-1. So for every Hamas fighter, there's one civilian casualty, which is, it's bad, but it's It's not even close to anything else that we've seen in the history of warfare. No other country in the history of the world has even came close to that. I mean, the best ratio that ever had was 1-to-3. That was the best ratio ever. We are 1-to-1.
Kijk eens aan, even kijken wie we hier hebben. Een hele goede dag hier, Omroep Poont live. Wie heb ik tegenover me? Ben jij al geabonneerd? Zo niet, doe dat dan even. En volg ons op de socials. Hier zit de knop, hè? Hier.